Every child has dreams and hopes for a great future, and education is the foundation for that better tomorrow. But there are millions of people in this world who do not have that privilege of education. Vidya Murava Netram, Ade Jnana Netram, which means education is the third eye which gives enlightenment. But many do not get a fair shot at the life-changing education just because they cannot afford it. But one person was determined to change that. Do whatever he can in any small way to change the life of a child by giving the gift of education. That visionary was Dr. Ratnam Chitturi, who founded North-South Foundation in 1989 to help the underprivileged kids in India. He passionately believes that children everywhere deserve education, hope, and opportunity. What started as a brainchild of Dr. Chitturi in his basement more than 3 decades ago has now spread its wings across the world as a 100% volunteer-led organization. North-South Foundation Scholarship Program in India provides scholarships to students who excel academically but need help to attend college. NSF has distributed more than 20,000 scholarships to students who need financial support to pursue higher education. NSF also conducts several education contests all across US to promote education excellence. And it's amazing to see the kids from NSF take the spotlight on national stages for various prestigious competitions. Dr. Chitturi, with his passion and energy, led the foundation to the next level, which go over 90 chapters across US. And today, I'm gonna shine the spotlight on North-South Foundation. And I'm really excited to be talking to the president of North-South Foundation, Dr. Balu Natarajan. Dr. Balu Natarajan is a graduate of Northwestern University Medical School, has been the Chief Medical Officer of Seasons Hospice and President of Seasons Medical Group. Dr. Balu loves helping people and held a number of leadership positions in the various organizations. He has been a long-time volunteer for North-South Foundation, joined the Board Advisory Committee in 2015, and took charge as the President of NSF in 2020. Called as the Powerhouse Incubator by New York Times for its vision towards excellence in education. North-South Foundation helping many kids achieve their dreams and create young changemakers to make a difference in this world. As it marks 1 year for Dr. Balu as the President of NSF, please join me to hear more about NSF accomplishments and future plans from the dynamic President of NSF, Dr. Balu Natarajan. Hi, Dr. Balu. How are you today?
I'm doing great. How are you?
I'm doing good, thank you. Okay, Dr. Balu, let me start with my first question.
Sure.
Being a physician and being on the medical field for decades, can you tell us how your journey began with North-South Foundation and what was your inspiration to serve through NSF?
Yes, definitely. So I first started with North-South when the foundation was only a few years old. So this was in 1993, and I was not a doctor yet. I was in medical school, and that was the year of the first North-South Spelling Bee. So I was asked to help out, and so I got to be the pronouncer for the local spelling bee in Chicago. And I got to get my friends to be judges and help out with me. And so we put together the whole team that took care of the whole contest. And then I got to New Jersey for the first national North-South Spelling Bee finals in 1993. So I got to help contribute there. So that was a long time ago. And then ever since then, I've helped out with a few different contests, and I get called every now and then until about 6 years ago. And 6 years ago, I started helping out on the board, and my children were participating in our contests so that I felt I understood what it meant to be a volunteer and a parent and a board member. And then last year, in the middle of the pandemic, I was asked to be the president of the foundation. And so I was so inspired by children like you and by the parents like yours and the energy that everyone had, not just to learn, right? Not just around educational excellence, but also around empathy. So knowing that everything we do meant money that contributed to scholarships, that was important to me. And so I wanted to do whatever I could to help out. And so here I am.
That's great. And yup, NSF has extraordinary accomplishments, both from supporting the kids that need help in India and also creating shining champions on the national stages. So, can you tell us more about the various competitions organized by NSF every year and how that's helping with scholarships for kids in India?
Absolutely. So, we have a lot. I think everybody knows about our spelling and our math competitions, but we have a lot. We have vocab, we have history, we have public speaking, and we don't just have contests, we have coaching. So if you go to our website at northsouth.org, you will find all the contests that we host and all the coaching that we have. We even have coaching on universal values. We teach specifically around not just how to study, but how to be a good and complete person. And that money goes for a couple of things. The most important thing, or the most known thing, is scholarships in India. So children who can't afford an education, a college education, we help fund that. But last year we started helping out here. So I don't know if even you know this, Abhijay, but we gave out 1,000 Chromebooks to children in Title I schools here in the United States. So kids who couldn't study from home because they didn't have a device. Our children, our teenagers, and our under-teen aged kids, called Young Changemakers of North-South, they got together and they raised funds to buy 1,000 Chromebooks to give away to schools in areas where the kids couldn't afford stuff for themselves. So we're trying to do a lot on both sides of the ocean.
That's amazing. I went to some of the coachings too. I think I went to the science coaching and the geography coaching.
Yeah, great.
Yeah, and I'm sure that needs a lot of support and tireless hours from many people to conduct these competitions across so many cities all over the country. So, NSF being a 100% volunteer-run organization, can you tell us about the behind-the-scenes effort for making these most awaited competitions every year a huge success?
There's so much. And there are things that happen that I don't even know the degree about it, right? So we have volunteers that have to write the questions. We have volunteers that have to put together the coaching material. We have to make sure that the curriculum is solid. And then we have the technical aspect. So if it's a live competition, right, someone has to make sure that we have a place to have the live competition. Someone has to make sure the parking is set. Somebody's got to make sure we've got food there, right? And we have to have enough rooms, we have to have signage, and if we don't have it in a live setting, we have to have it virtually, right? So we've actually even got our companies we've worked with to help us in India to build the computer and IT infrastructure to administer the tests. So I don't know if you took any virtual contests this year.
I did.
Right. So you went online, right, and you took that test. It took a bunch of people, volunteers in the United States and volunteers plus IT professionals in India, to build that platform, right? So for you, you took that test in 25 minutes, but that 25-minute test took months to build and test. And then we had people here who quality control tested it. So they practiced taking the test to make sure that the possible answers didn't have decimal points off or didn't have typos in it. And so it's just hundreds of thousands of hours of people working really hard with the goal of serving children like you and children halfway around the world.
Wow. Yes, alone we can do so little. Together we can do so much.
Very well said.
And one definitely interesting thing is pay it forward. Attitude of everyone associated with NSF. A lot of NSF alumni give back to the organization by being active volunteers, which is just amazing. And I've been taking part in the NSF competitions since I was in kindergarten. It's always exciting, and it's just beyond amazing to see so many of North-South kids on the national stage for Scripps Spelling Bee year after year. And until recently, I did not know that you're the first ever Indian American child to win the spelling bee in 1985, which must be super thrilling. Can you tell us more about that?
Definitely. So first, I want to also make sure that folks know that we have children that go and do well in International Math Olympiad, that win National Science Bee, that win National Geography Bee. I mean, there are just so many different competitions where our children do well. Spelling is the one that kind of gets a lot of the press and the exposure, but our kids really do well on many national stages across lots of disciplines. 1985, there wasn't a North-South Foundation, right? So I didn't get to practice through it, but soon thereafter there was. And, being the first Indian American, I did not know how special that was until people in the community told me how special it was. So they were proud that something that our community had done, right, was special and was being recognized. And so I learned very quickly how important it is that we stick together as a community. So I learned that at that time, right? And obviously, 35 plus years have passed since then, and I still believe that, and I teach my children that. And so it was a really great way to get to know people within the Indian American community, because they took so much pride in my competition. And so I got to know a lot of really cool people, and then I got to help out quite a bit. So it's been very special for me.
That is super impressive and definitely a huge proud moment. And it's awesome to see your kids continuing the legacy, and you must be really proud of them. Do you help them at home with the preparation for contests?
I do some help for sure. They help each other. Their mom helps them too. And so we try to make it a team effort, and we're very lucky that their grandparents don't live far away. And so they learn a lot from their grandparents as well. So we try to teach them a lot across many different subjects, which of course comes in handy at some of the North-South competitions, among other things.
That's great. I'm sure we'll see them on the national stage soon.
Sure hope so. That would be great.
Dr. Balu, the 2020 pandemic has changed the way we live, and you took the leadership of NSF in that critical time. Even with a difficult year and completely new situations that no one has prepared for, NSF, under your leadership, has continued its commitment to education excellence. You're also the brain behind Panacea Challenge, launched last year, a national virtual challenge to keep us all engaged in the pandemic time. And you have generously sponsored around $10,000 worth in prize money, and also finding unique and creative ways to move ahead. As it marks 1 year for you as the president of NSF, what are some of your most memorable moments with the organization, and what were some of the challenges?
I think the challenges included getting to know our volunteers without being able to get out of the house. That was the hard part, right? The best part would have been to go to a national finals and to go to some chapter contests and meet everyone, right? That's the most productive, efficient, and more importantly, the most fun way to interact with people and get to know them. I didn't get to do that. That was the challenge. That was the real bummer. So I'm looking forward to being able to do that sometime. The memorable parts all have to do with our participants, their parents, our volunteers. I have gotten a chance to interact by phone, by video like this, by email. I've gotten to know so many people. I still have a lot more to get to know, but the energy of every one of them, it's like yours. They've got ideas, they've got energy, they want to do well, and they want to make the world a better place. And to have an opportunity to interact with people every day that want to make the world a better place, that's what keeps me going. That's that's really the memory.
And thank you for your generosity and leadership in these tough times and continuing to keep us all engaged. So, Dr. Balu, NSF has also launched several new initiatives like online coaching, webinars, youth programs like the Changemakers Initiative and the Ambassador Program. Can you tell us more about how youth can take an active role and be the change makers?
Definitely. I think last year, the way that our kids stepped up, right, to make sure that children here in the United States could get access to education, that was incredibly powerful. And our kids can spread the word about the foundation, so get their friends to join contests and coaching. They can do coaching themselves. So we are getting more and more of our alumni coaching. They can volunteer at events. So if you participated in geography, you can be a volunteer for history, right? You can help out there. And so there's just so much that everybody can do. It really is a, practically 100% volunteer organization. And so we are as strong as the people that are contributing. And I'll tell you what, I would much rather have one of our flyers or a social media note put together by someone who's between the age of 10 and 20 than someone my age, because it'd be super cool, right? If someone who's your age is putting that together, it'd be much more powerful and much more impactful for your generation of kids.
That's great to hear. And thank you for providing that opportunity and encouragement to create the change makers for tomorrow. So you've taken the leadership of this extraordinary organization, impacting so many lives in so many different ways. So what's next for NSF? And what are your plans and visions for NSF moving forward?
So we have a lot that's exciting coming up for the North-South Foundation. I think we've done a lot over the years with our contest and our coaching, and that's going to continue. But I think a lot of what we're really going to be focusing on is how to do more for our community here and how do we engage our community here. In other words, how do we generate money for not just scholarships in India, but educational offerings here? And how do we engage all of our neighbors, right? Not just our Indian American neighbors, but everyone. If we're serving the community here, well, then everyone down the street should be able to help out and volunteer and help make things happen. So that's what's coming at some point. We're working on it, and I can't wait to share details once they come together.
That is exciting to hear, and your leadership and support from all volunteers and parents will make that future a reality. Okay, one last question. What is your message to all the parents and kids watching the show?
My message is we need you. So if you're not already volunteering, right, and I'm not just saying volunteering at one event, we need you as much as possible, right, throughout the year. If you can only give us an hour a week, that's okay, but we would love that hour a week. We definitely we have so many people that are really smart, that are really well-intended, that are rooted in not just education and excellence, but empathy. They want to pay it forward. And if that describes you, we want you part of this. So we need you year-round. If you've got a skill set or if you have a desire to serve, we need you. That's my biggest message.
Thank you for that amazing message. As the famous quote goes, education is the most powerful weapon we can use to change the world. North-South Foundation, with its extraordinary achievements over the last 30 years of excellence, with a mission towards empathy, education, and excellence, is making a huge positive impact on so many kids and helping them make their dreams come true. And Dr. Balu, with your effective leadership, passion, and vision, North-South Foundation will sure reach much more greater heights and continue to lead the way to a better tomorrow by empowering the future generations. Thank you for joining my show today and sharing your inspiring journey.
Thanks for having me. I appreciate it.